This is the Afro Perspective Podcast, the home of over-opinionated young voices.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afro Perspective Podcast. This is DJ Busy, alongside Scotcha Vibes, Medley, and Zoya.
new career.
You might get sponsorship still.
Tell me what we saw the other night. Welcome to the Afro Perspective Podcast. This is season 2, episode 3, and today we are going to be talking about Mr. Vibes. Would you like to take the lead?
No, what are we talking about?
Music and the
Okay, all right, we're gonna get into it.
Yeah, man, let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. All right, we are gonna be trying to draw correlations and looking at the different arguments where music and violence on the streets is concerned. In particular, the music that kind of, urban music, grime.
It's created in our community.
Yeah. So can we zoom in on grime and dancehall?
Grime, dancehall, and rap, and general rap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, okay.
Go basic, man.
Talking to the microphone.
So we're gonna start. Some people love an artist that's real and they believe their story in it. But like Potter said, Potter Paper, he's got a song called Real Rapper on his new mixtape, and he kind of goes in about when he caught a case and they used a lot of his music and they played a lot of his stuff in court.
Oh, did he implicate himself?
Yeah, and then they had like so-called experts to break down all these little things and stuff like that. You get me? Because
right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's people on their side that know what people are saying. But on that side, a lot of artists think, well, I want people to listen. So they want a wow factor. Oh my God, man. So they do some stupidness or whatever, and then they go and tell the people on their song. Mm-hmm. You get me? You know what I'm saying? It's a bit of a cliche thing.
Okay, so I've heard two sides of the argument. Some people will say drill doesn't have an influence on the youths, and it doesn't have an influence. It doesn't perpetuate, or at least help perpetuate, street violence, gang violence, or etc. And some people will say drill is responsible for a lot of the fuckery that we see going on the streets.
Okay.
So I'm saying drill, but that extends to other genres like dancehall. When we look at certain grimy aspects of dancehall, like the Batman sung them, and in drill likewise, rap likewise. So, how do you feel about that?
You wanna go?
Go on, cause me talk.
All right. So we're talking about what the music influencing the youth and to be doing basically foolishness on the road. I don't think the question is actually a simple one, and the reason why I don't think that is because you can get one guy who's listening to all of that music and it doesn't go any further than that. He takes it for his entertainment purposes, and then you'll get another guy who may be a little disillusioned. I'm just being honest, from my personal opinion, and he will listen to that and then be influenced by that, because music is influential. It does make you feel away. I'm not going to deny that. Let me land. Right? And he takes that and then he almost wants to become what he's listening to, and that therefore perpetuates into circumstances and situations. So I don't think it's one fits all for the argument. I actually literally think it depends on the person, and therefore the real question for me is, does there then need to be accountability from artist perspective to take responsibility for what you are putting out?
So,
go on, I'm quiet. No, go on.
For me, like you said, you listened to that tune that I put one of the songs from my album.
Yes, I did.
Track one.
He said he was it influenced you.
Yo, bro.
It influenced you. You were driving fast. What did you want to do? Put on some black gloves? Did you say? Yeah.
In the trap house.
That's what I say. But so I don't know if you're already doing them kind of things. You're doing them things already, and that's just a soundtrack to what you're doing already. There's been violent movies, everything like that can play a part in someone's frame of mind. So it's just how obviously you as a person decide to deal with it. Obviously listening to the music for starters, because young people can be more influenced than older people. But if you're on that path already, it's not drill. It's not drill. Drill's an accessory. You're already doing that. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're relating to it because you're doing that already. Do you know what I'm saying?
But let's macro analyze it. Yeah. When you look at the audience that listens to drill, that listens to dancehall, we'd say probably from about 13 going up. So some of these 13-year-olds, a good majority of them listen to that music, and when we talk about the bad aspects of drill, for example, the bad aspects of dancehall, if we say dancehall's influencing the youths in a negative way, dancehall artists are very quick to hold their hands up and say, nah, it's not the artist.
Cartel said it.
Right? Cartel was like, it's not the artist.
Not me,
Dancehall artists kind of refuse to take accountability of their influence on the youths, right? But we live in the social media era.
They can get their hands on whatever they want.
Think about it. What's the biggest, one of the biggest ranks on social media? It's quote unquote influencer.
Social influencer.
Social influencer, right? When corporations want to market something, who do they go to?
The influencers.
They go to artists. So artists have got the capability, they've got the influence over the youths that can sway the youth's mind in terms of buying a certain products. Why do we wear Gucci, Moncler, Stone Island?
It's in a lot of music. It's in a lot of
Balenciaga. Cardi B boosted Balenciaga ratings red bottoms. Red bottoms, until she said red bottoms, their sales went bang.
She did say that though. That it was because of her that the sales.
There was some money.
So, if musicians can influence society to in a mass scale, to buy certain products, to drink certain drinks, to dress a certain way.
Of course, to buy certain drinks.
Right, exactly. Like, so
certain beverages.
shoes. Now, where you get the new Clarks, the daddy? Right?
That one track.
Clarks. He brought them back.
Yeah,
Cartel brought them back.
Cartel made them cool. Bleaching. Cartel made bleaching cool.
Yeah, it's true. And it's an epidemic in...
If Cartel was bold enough right now to cross certain lines in
Do you think
dancehall,
there'd be an epidemic? Epidemic with bleaching in Jamaica if Cartel hadn't come out with the bleaching first? Do you think he started that?
he played a...
It was always there.
It was always there.
But I feel that there's man them that look like Cartel.
He made it cool all time.
Yeah, but Cartel helped kind of he helped normalize it.
He did.
And that's the power of the influencer, the dancehall influencer, the grime, the drill artist. If a drill artist starts talking a certain way, they've got the capability of making up certain slangs.
Yeah, which seep into our everyday language.
Right?
Definitely.
So if now
I've got your camera, by the way, so go on land.
hundreds of youths, thousands of youths, millions of youths are taking this drill, this language, this content that drills.
It's a culture-ish. But more females are listening to this genre. In even the hardcore dancehall and the hardcore drill, there's more females into it right now than I've ever known. Do you believe it or not?
No,
Am I lying?
I've seen it.
You get me? I'm thinking, bro, is this Shun?
Because it's
She's
cool.
there like,
Young yellow.
she's there, you get me?
Because it's cool.
Yo.
Man's into it and that. So it probably influences them in a certain way, but
I've seen, mate. Yeah.
I feel like generally.
I've seen enough girls listen to Skilly Bang and I'm like,
No, guess what? I feel like generally these days girls are getting a bit more grimy.
Fact.
So what's influencing that?
Okay. Well, hold on then. So what about the fact that a lot of these artists come from backgrounds where the stuff that they are talking about, even if they're not doing it themselves, they have seen it around them and it affects their everyday life. And if you look at music as an art form, technically art is meant to reflect life. So then do you really hold them accountable
I'll tell you
for
exactly
saying
why
those
that's
things in the lyrics? I'll
tell you exactly why that's nonsense.
I'm just asking the question. Go on.
How much of them artists are living in the inner city areas? In, let's say, in dancehall, how many dancehall artists are living in the inner city areas?
You have the answer, man. So come tell me.
No.
No.
When these artists start making money, what do?
Oh, the cheap to
They build mansions in affluent areas.
As you would do, because you get as far away from the fuckery as possible.
When they're
They're almost.
That's a good topic.
No. But that doesn't change what I said.
Okay,
I said
even here.
No.
All right,
No. So if you have grown up somewhere, because you have to remember, you can't take the ghetto out of somebody like that, you know. So if you've grown up somewhere from zero and you maybe bust when you're 17 to 21 years old, just say that's the age group. Then that means for the first 20 years of your life, that's all you've known.
That's all you've known.
Yeah, so eventually you might get to a Jay-Z status where he don't even rhyme about crud no more. You may have noticed that, Jay-Z is far away from the crud. But if you look at early Jay-Z, he's on them kind of things. So it's going to take a while for somebody to change the narrative and move away from all of that if that's what they are used to and that's what they know. Even if they're no longer living around those circumstances.
Anton, do you think that they don't know better?
Oh yeah, because these are usually the smartest people. Like, you're smart, fam. Like, people that write lyrics are generally intelligent.
Okay, so tell me something. Do they not shield their children from the same music that they produce?
I wouldn't know. I'm not an artist. Yeah, I've seen
artists shield their music. I've heard a lot of artists say they shield their children from their own music because they know that their music is toxic.
Well, apart from Cardi B, the recent times saying that, who else has said that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of
I remember
artists
watching
might do
her an interview with Lady Saw. She never used to make music.
Oh damn!
Yes, but now we're talking about.
I remember watching an interview with Spice. She doesn't let her kids listen to her music.
Is it any male
just-
artist?
Majority of the male artists.
women,
Let me tell you something, Medley. Right? As a, if you honestly would you let your daughter listen to some of the fuckery that you sing?
No, definitely not.
Exactly.
Obviously,
Why not?
Because obviously you just don't want your little daughter listen to them kind of thing.
Why not?
Because it's fuckery.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. Okay.
No, but why?
Because she knows it's fuckery. She doesn't let her daughter listen to them kind of thing because they're influential. You don't want your daughter going out like that. You get me? Like even certain things that I probably make, I wouldn't really want my little girl to.
But hold on. Isn't that called good parenting? That actually has nothing to do with the music whatsoever. Yeah. So if you're making music, so you've got a song and it's a raunchy song, yeah, and you don't want your daughter to listen to that song, isn't that just good parenting? So technically, would you want?
It's basic good parenting.
Okay, so hold on. Would you want your daughter? You're not Cardi B, but would you want your daughter to listen to certain Cardi B records? No. So you therefore shield her or try to shield her from those songs also. So when you're talking about accountability, I'm not saying it is all on the parents because you can't control all music that comes through your door. Yes. But if you're going to shield it from some of your own music, then surely that applies to other music outside as well.
Let's just be real. Everybody's like wants to. There's yin and yang. There's two sides of a coin. There's someone has to do the full. You get me? Someone has to do the full. You get me?
Shut up now. Go on.
So it's just like I say, whether you just got to. The fuckery's always been there. You get me? It's just been in different forms. In the 90s and the 80s, you get me? It's probably like, I wanna sex you up or some shit. It was probably not as direct. But there was.
It was direct.
Do you remember?
Something was direct. Probably not even seen it. You get me?
Do you remember that song?
It's been there.
Was it Beanie Man and Lady Soul back in the days? Because that came out when I was quite young, and I remember that song was playing in the house back in Guyana, and I came in and I was singing that song, My brother beat me when I came in.
My brother beat
My
me.
brother beat me. So it kind of is down to parenting and what would you. But then, as an artist, I think you have to be held accountable for the music that you're putting out.
Okay, hold on. So let's go back to somebody like let's go to the West Coast. Let's go like Dr. Dre. Let's go back in time a little bit.
Far back.
So we'll go back to Dr. Dre and the West Coast music that was coming out, which is all hardcore gangster rap apparently, right?
Yeah.
It came with a parental advisory sticker. It was a little bit easier back in the day because obviously you had to go and buy the CD and literally bring it into your house.
Yeah.
But they weren't people were complaining about the music they were putting out, but how is that music getting into your household? And if you didn't like that music is not coming in as a parent, surely.
Okay.
No, hold on. And not only that, the fact that there's a parental advisory on it means that this should be for 18s only. That is the same argument that you'd have for scary movie or whatever kind of 18 movie film that a child shouldn't be watching. The two things are aligned. Like, why are they listening to that music? Why are they watching that movie?
Tracks and CDs that came with the parental advisory, but let's at HMV back in the days, were you still not able to buy it? They didn't exactly say show me your ID. You can't leave HMV with this CD or this DVD.
Unless
They should have.
Jobs where.
That part is true. Okay, so hold on. Is that down to the artist or is that down to the
It's not down to the artist, but
so if I'm an artist and I put this music, because I want to make some raunchy music, say I want to make some Dexter Dap style music. I'm making that music for grown women.
Yeah.
Right?
Big woman.
Big women, right?
Grown people.
I'm making it for grown
too.
women. Is that my fault if that falls into children's hands?
no.
Okay, so hold on.
So where does accountability lay? That was my question.
So hold on. Relate that back to drill music, or hardcore hip hop, or hardcore dancehall.
Yeah.
Is the accountability the same or is it different? It's a little bit harder of a conversation to have now because my son could be upstairs listening to Spotify. Unless I'm
The accountability is not different. It's
All right, here's
still
the
a bad
thing. Here's the thing.
Go on.
Drill is not the cause of the violence,
Yeah.
but drill is a factor. It's a cog in the wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Likewise, certain aspects of dancehall are a cog in the wheel, whether it's in a positive direction or in a negative
In
direction.
Jamaica or here? Or
Everywhere, anywhere in the world.
It's
Because trust me, when you hear Shabba Mother Pot,
you are right.
Country Lord for me, you feel like you want to ride out.
But some of that's maturity though, because I want to listen to Chapel Mother. I'm not saying I'm not gonna get hyped because I will.
You get hype.
But it stops
At a level.
At a level. Where is that level for other humans?
You're not
that
gonna-
is
you're right,
the issue
true.
for me. I've been listening, like, rightly or wrongly, throwing my parents on the bus, I've been listening to hip hop forever. And I would like to say that I'm not really, it's not made me go out there and necessarily die somebody up like chicken breast. Like, it's not happened. But there'll be other people say, okay, yeah, I listen to that type of music and, yo, that's my influence. So really, isn't it what connects that dot that hasn't connected that dot for me is the actual real issue.
Do you think the music makes violence sound
cool?
Yeah, 100.
I think it desensitizes the youths. It sort of encourages the youths to, all right, then I want to prove something. You know, like, look, a 13-year-old kid comes from a decent family. He happens to like drill. Now he's looking at some of the youths that resemble the youths that he's seen in the drill videos
like
in
that.
his area. Yeah. He's thinking, yo, I want to be down with these guys. So, let me go put in some work. And then next thing, 12-year-old, 13-year-old gets stabbed by a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old. So at what point do we kind of say, okay, this music is toxic? It's feeding into the toxicity.
I can't.
Like I say, there's toxic forms of art in all forms.
Right.
You get me? All genres, all forms of music. You get me? Rock stars, white people. There's the bad side of them and their side and their thing as well. So there's a lot of drugs and other things in their music, and there has been for years. So now there's a bigger market for everything. Bigger market for drugs, a bigger market for violence in music. anywhere. So and it's easy accessible. So I kind of think if you're listening to them kind of things and it's relatable to you, you're already in that kind of mode already because you're relating to it. You can kind of, so if you're already on putting in work,
It's just a mixtape to life.
If you're on putting in work, you're gonna listen to them kind of music generally. You get me? But if you just like the energy of the rhythms, you get me, and you listen to it. You're not gonna go out and do that. You get me?
I used to kind of defend the music and say, well, you know, video games and movies and everything still depict violence, right?
Facts.
And I've come to the place where I've realised that is that's a false equivalency.
Elaborate.
And the reason why I say that's a false equivalency, you can play GTA, you can play all these violent games, you can watch all these gangster movies, and to a certain extent they can kind of
influence
your subconscious, right? Fair enough. When we look at the music now, this is the kind of music that's implicating people in courts. We're talking about man.
Do you know why?
This is right. Music is an expression is an artistic expression, right? I get it. Would you go rob a bank and sing about it in a song? No. Would you mock somebody that's just somebody from the other side got killed and you're mocking them in a song and you're singing about spraying your ops and everything, and these are real life events?
Yeah, so not me.
What's your
I'm gonna say but what I'm saying is, so like I say, listeners, they like to buy into the artist, that they're real. You get me?
Yeah.
If you're a guy that likes listening to real rap, and you're listening to this real rap and he's like, I bang hammers and sell this and sell that, and you get me? You're like, yo, this guy puts in work. If you've seen him on the road wearing a dress, bro, it will just spoil it for you, fam. You probably wouldn't listen to his music anymore. So, as the artists want to do fuckery to get you to believe their story and talk about fuckery, because a lot of people get lost in the sauce as well. A lot of people think that's the only way they can get a look in. You get me? Like, I've spoken to a lot of up and coming artists, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and it's like,
This is the first generation,
and they're gonna do something crazy and put it in a video to like go viral, because they're in that viral, the outrageous, do something crazy to get noticed kind of thing. So it's
but Medley, this is
sorry.
I'll let you. This is the first generation that I'm seeing that is actually mirroring the reality of the streets. I grew up on hip hop, right? And they did used to kind of mirror the streets, but they didn't used to implicate the streets.
There's a reason for that, Tinashe.
Right?
There's a reason.
I grew up on Tupac, Biggie. Them man were dropping. Do you know what I mean? Biggie was giving you the 10 crack commandments without implicating himself or anybody. Right? Tupac was singing about guns and murder. But they didn't do it in such a way that would warrant. Look at Chicago right now.
That's where
last year alone, how much man got killed over stupid rap beefs.
But the Chicago era, that's when things started to change more.
So now it's took a different turn. It's not like one time where we could say Tupac is just rapping, or do you know what I mean? These guys are real because they are addressing real issues. You can be a real rapper without actually acting on your art. Right. You can be a real rapper talking about real shit, talking about things that people can relate to. Tupac was a big. All right, Anton, I'll let you go.
Yeah, there's a big issue here. The big issue here is we're kind of obviously in America it seems like people are getting licked down left, right, and centre.
And in London.
Right, I'm about to get to that. Right, there are more artists now than there have ever been before. Yeah, and what I mean by that is if you have a decent microphone, a decent laptop, yeah, and able to quiet your room,
Everyone's a rapper.
you can be a rapper. I'm not taking it away from anybody, but you understand what I'm saying, right? So the amount of people now that are getting, you think in Tupac and Biggie's era, it was much harder for you to be
to get out and get into
a substantial rapper,
have all the equipment and stuff.
Okay,
cool.
right. So when you're seeing rappers getting licked down left, right, and centre, half of them probably are gang members. The issue that we have now in the UK is that our scene has now grown. Because remember, back in the day, we didn't really have a scene like that. Yeah. Now we got to think about it this way. In a dance now, I could probably play a UK segment, including the Afrobeats part, yeah, and not play any US R&B and hip hop. Right? If I wanted to, I could get away with that. Yeah, okay. Right. So our scene has grown that much that we can literally sustain all on our own. That means there's a whole load of rappers now that are out here doing their thing. So the influence that Tupac is gonna have on me is never gonna be as big as the influence that a drill rapper is going to have on my son, because they sound the relatability. This bridge, if
videos on the end,
it's the end. Right. Even in Sheffield, so a man them's done a video in Sheffield. Oh, that's my ends. So automatically now it is going to have more of an impact, and I think that's probably half of the reason why you're seeing the changes on the streets and the influence is because
I get you.
We relate to it a lot more. Like I can see that. Go on.
Real quick.
Go.
When the sorry.
Go on,
come on, man! Don't get me started.
Go on.
See how Chicago, I kind of think had a big part to play in that, because that's when the music started getting bare disrespectful. Drill kind of started there, and everybody kind of adopted. That's one thing about drill. Everyone's got their own scene. I've seen Irish drill, Nigerian drill. I'm joking. Yeah, Brooklyn drill, London drill, and everyone's got their own drill scene, and everybody's fine with that. Everyone's got their own. You know what I mean? If drill started over there, if back in the day, if drill started in Chicago and then Brooklyn man started doing drill, they'd be like, you Chicago niggas, you Brooklyn niggas teeth in that shit. You get me? But everyone's got their own drill segment. And everyone's calm with that.
I'm flipping the script altogether now. I think music has an impact on the subconscious more than people realize. If you get in your car in the morning, right, and you had a track playing the night before, and it was, let's say, a hype song for me is like a DMX track.
Okay, yeah, DMX is a good one.
So DMX is hype for me. I don't think, I'm gonna give it to someone, I'm gonna shank someone just because I'm listening to a DMX track. It depends on the person listening to the track. But if I get in the car in the morning, I'm gonna be like, oh gosh, I'm not the person I was the night before, because you're on a different vibe. The vibe of music, it plays on your subconscious. I don't know if you saw a video years ago when they played the vibrations of music on rice in a glass. So they put different glasses with rice inside and water, and they put speaker to each glass of different genres of music. They put classical to one, the other one they had like dark rock music and some other next music, and you can see how the rice molded and changed forms because of the different vibrations in the songs. And I think the music industry are aware of that.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
So they would push certain tracks to certain genres knowing the frequency of it. So if they go to like you said with sponsorship and stuff, so Dr. Pepper might go to flipping Kiss, that band back in the days, and be like, we want you to push our brand, and we want you to sell it. So therefore, the signal and frequency of your music, we might get more sales because of that. So I think people need to think of the subconscious of music and the level that how it plays on you.
Yeah. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Music execs actually, do you know that's actually?
Yeah, they're the real sharks, isn't it?
This is actually data. Yeah, and I bet they mess around with the data and they use that to, kind of market.
Yep, they do.
The music to other corporations and everything.
Facts. Do we think, and I'm not saying this is the right answer, that I agree with Zoya wholeheartedly that music will have an impact on your subconscious. We've seen it. You play. You're a DJ. Certain songs you'll play.
You warm up with certain music and
and certain songs you'll play, and you know you're gonna get some energy from it. Whether that energy goes left is dependent on the person, but you're gonna get some energy from it. Do you think that's dependent on the amount?
Banger, and I've seen that song play and fight kick off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As you dropped it. Yeah, as you dropped it. Okay.
Then go on like that, and literally I've seen man brawling.
But but in those situations, the man them, I almost feel that they had a narrative already, and you've just kind of lit the fuse, which is kind of what you was going on about. Yeah, in some respects, I do agree that music has a subconscious and a conscious, because when you're growing up, you look at your artists and you're like, I want to be like that guy. I was like that 100%. You know, Ja Rule and 50 Cent. That was my era. I wanted to be like them guys. You know what I mean?
But fam, I've been in a rave and I'm DJing, right? Dance full up. And you can see the vibes in the dance. You know, you ever walked into a dance and you've seen the tension?
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna kick off any minute.
You know, you can just see wars in the air. You know what I do?
You better play some
war
Bob Marley, bro.
You know what I do?
You better play some One Drop, Celine Dion.
My mind is telling me no.
What to bring down the mood?
I can guarantee you, there's no war that's gonna rock out if you're playing souls.
Yeah.
If you're playing sexy music, if the man were preying each other,
they ain't concentrating on that. No,
it's not the time to make eye contact. That's why.
It's changed.
I can't even be looking at the next man right now. I can't be looking at my ops right now. I can't even pre my ops right now, cause guess what? The girls are whining. You get me?
Yeah.
So music, it's like singers and players of instruments have a responsibility and accountability, and there are influences.
Do you think that a lack of role models is the real issue? Because, and the only reason why I say this is because Tim Westwood, right? I've been listening to Tim Westwood probably since I was 8. Way too young to be listening to Tim Westwood. Yeah, since I was 8. Me and my cousin, since I was 8 years old. Yeah, recording them, whatever. It's never brought me to a point where I'm committing crime to that degree. So, and you know, back in them days, it was hardcore hip hop.
You were dropping bombs.
Right, okay, it was real hip hop, right? And, you know, 10 to 11 or 11 to 12, whatever time it was. Do you think it's a lack of positive role models in people's lives that leads us as a community into these issues?
Yeah. Think about it. If you as a dad, right? As much as the music might influence your kids, you have a bigger precedence over over their values and morals and how they are raised.
Yeah. I'd like to assume so.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
It's not. It's like if he was absent as a role model, then they'd be more susceptible to accepting the morals and values that are portrayed through the music.
I get you.
Yes.
So if we look at, just think about it hypothetically, right?
I have an example.
If we didn't, if you look at the younger generation right now, the teenagers, the way that they dress, the way that they speak, the way that they in most aspects of their life is based on what? Entertainment. Entertainment at this point now is the biggest influencer. It's not like back in the days when religion was the biggest influencer. Back in the days, religion was so influential. Religion took a complete backseat.
Now, do you think it's on par?
No, religion's it's gone clear because guess what? What corporation is going to go ask the Pope to endorse their product?
They're not going to do that.
Fair dude.
They're
going to go to Dr. Dre. They're going to go to Cardi B.
They're going to go to Dr. Dre.
They're going to go to Dr. Dre.
That's what I hear that.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so my point being that should the artist take into account that the person who's listening to their music might not have the most positive role models? Or is it a case of, and the way that I see it, the way that I see it is drill music in particular. So I've been listening to a lot of drill lately. A lot of it is very violent, and I mean very
even
very,
for you,
even for me. Yeah, I heard one lyric where my man said, "Yo, I had to to stick my man, and I had to stab him up right down to the handle." I'm like, "Yo, bro, slow down." Yeah, to me, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm like, "Oh, okay." And a lot of the lyrics are like that. So there's not a representation of life in drill music. it's a lot of it is grimy all the way through, which means it's very easy to label drill music as hazardous and problematic.
Here's the problem.
Right.
As much as drill music is problematic, music cannot be influential if it doesn't have financial backing and if it doesn't have investors
I
behind
said it's
it.
the institutions are coming first.
It's
Right.
always them though.
Wait, before you go,
Who's selling these artists and who's marketing these artists? Who's signing these artists?
the same record labels that have been signing all the fuckery from day one. The
From
same
day one.
ones, believe it or not.
So as much as we might put the onus on drill artists to take accountability, essentially we need to look at the bigger elephant in the room, which is
the big elephant in the room always goes with what the streets are listening to. Really and truly.
No, but I'm saying in terms of holding people accountability to say, yo, this music is toxic.
If they weren't pushing it,
who do we look at?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Who's
they
the
can stop.
biggest
Yeah.
beneficiary from drill music?
Well, put it this way as well. One point is a bit of a spanner in the works. Now you can chart without being signed. Yes.
right?
You can chart without being signed. You can chart independently. So now, drill artists happen to stumble into the charts. Like, oh shit, you get me? You know what I'm saying?
Why am I Radio 1?
And now, the labels were like, oh shit, we need to get behind this shit. And then that's when a lot of people, so they started getting behind it. You get me? There are people behind it now, but there wasn't at first. It was an organic thing that kind of grew. Do you know what I'm saying? So, what you were saying earlier, I was just kind of just putting that point forward.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I think as much as you know how the radio system, you know how radio works, you know how the music system works, right? As much as you've got drill artists that, you know, independent artists and everything, right? There are certain artists that are where they are simply because of who's behind them.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
There's certain artists that are charting simply because of who's behind them.
Right.
They got the whole machine
That
behind
breakthrough
them.
artists, they're, as much as you might have your independent artists that will break through and there is kind of a platform for them, I kid you not,
Yeah,
they're
Big
disposable.
wheel behind them.
Yeah, they're disposable, and sometimes the number one artist is the number one artist because money's been spent.
Yeah, cause definitely. There's certain things that are put in place, and you just think that happened way too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the. You look at the artists with the organic growth that have been grafting for years, and then when they come to their prime, you kind of think, yeah, my man worked for it. And then you see one guy come up,
Bang.
third song, second song, absolutely topping every record.
It's like he's on every major platform, big interviews.
That's the one. That's when you know the wheels are really in motion, when they just turn up. And I'm watching it for the first time, like, who is this brother? And then I have to go and look at his music, and then before you know it, you're caught in. Okay, so can we talking about the fuckery? No, because we have to. So we're talking about accountability. Oh, as individuals, as humans, we're not going to take into consideration that human behavior just likes fuckery.
I was about to say, right?
No, human behavior tends to gravitate towards fuckery. And
It's a fact.
has.
It's a fact.
You can say no.
You want to watch
No.
TV.
I say yes.
You don't want to watch everyone getting on. You want to watch the dramas.
That's why Big Brother's there.
That's why Big Brother's there. That's why Love
It's a
Island's
fact.
there. That's what
Let's hear.
I was going to say that. Do you think, is there any such thing as positive music? Why is it that negative music sells more than the positive?
Hold on. Oh, sorry, go on. Go.
Do you remember when Michael Jackson came out and he said that Sony was trying to stop all his stuff because of the message he was trying to push?
Yeah.
It's the same as Bob Marley. They were trying to cut him off because of the message he was trying to push. So why is it that they want to push the negative narrative more than the positive narrative?
Go on.
Maybe, and this is a maybe because this is not a fact.
Okay.
Maybe for the people that it will influence and the people that would go out and do
Madness.
the fuckery, of madness. Because they want to separate the classes. You know what I mean? So you have at the top where you're doing things and you're needed in society, you're welcome, you're assets to us, or you're just at the bottom of the barrel where you can be really easily influenced by a lot of that stuff, and you're going to do a lot of that stuff and go by that way. It's just a little conspiracy that I kind of have. You get me? If you're strong-minded enough to look over it and just enjoy it, you can do it. If not, if you're more for you for being influenced and going down that road, because we're going to make money off you when we put you in prison anyway. Am I going crazy or what?
No. You're talking some truth there. But I think the negative narrative is being pushed more than the positive. As for drill, I don't listen to drill.
Because it sells. I literally think
negativity sells more than positivity.
No, guess what?
What?
Point proven.
He's got something to say.
I actually think it's an anomaly.
What is?
Only sells in the black community.
What? Sorry?
Fuckery only sells in the black community. We're the only people that.
That's not true.
We're the only people that paint our trauma in the way that we do through the music on a large scale.
Right.
Yeah. So much of it.
Yeah.
That's so much.
We got reams of it.
To paint.
No, I don't think that's the case.
What?
Look into Africa. Africa's more traumatized than any place anywhere. What kind of music comes out of Africa?
Depends.
Why is
Positive. There's a lot.
Why is Afrobeat so big?
That's not negative.
Because it's happy music.
That's what I'm okay.
If you listen to an Afrobeats mix, it's happy.
There's a vibe.
Bro, if you're not westernized, black people are not happy. I don't know if you realise this.
This is what I'm saying.
So what are we actually?
I don't know if you realise this. We're angry people, fam.
Yeah, but but we have a lot to be happy about. What's the biggest reggae music song till this day?
One love.
And what other song?
Could you be loved?
No. Three Little Birds.
Oh.
Don't worry.
No, okay.
That is the biggest selling song till this day. If you look on the Billboard charts, that album's still in the top 10. It's never dropped.
It's still in the charts like he's alive today.
Yeah, it doesn't move.
Why do you think?
Yeah, he's in the charts.
Right?
He's in the charts like
Now let's bring it to 2020 to 2021, right? Or to this era. What's one of the biggest songs in reggae?
We just said it, innit?
To us.
to us.
Yeah, coffee.
Currently.
Yeah, toast.
Okay, so
cool.
which is another happy.
What's one of the biggest?
Toast gave us a very.
All right, let me just give you some examples of even different artists. Right, let's look at Vybz Kartel.
Yeah.
What's one of Vybz Kartel's biggest songs? And I'll tell you, it's one of my mom's favorite songs.
Which
song?
Clocks? Which one? Summertime.
Most can.
Yeah.
Sometimes mashes up.
My mom's always she actually run me down.
Summertime
She's like, can you get me that CD that's got Summertime Vybz Kartel? It's my mom.
Yeah, it's a very nice song.
Feel good songs do sell.
No, I'm gonna do it that one day. Yeah,
right.
Feel good songs do sell, but I believe the psyche still likes negative music. I'm not having it.
Anton.
I'm telling you.
The psyche of a toxic community, toxic society will gravitate to negative music because of negative a negative culture.
Because people of urban music are probably not black people.
Facts.
Yeah.
They're not buying.
So hold on, let me land, please. So before we talk about us as a community,
they consume that music completely differently to how we consume it.
That's okay. So that's the real issue. That's my point. That is the real issue, because you've got middle class America buying hip hop albums, and you got middle class England. Because my son's friend is into drill music. Yeah, white guy from SA.
But how can he relate to that?
He consumes it differently. I agree.
Why? Somehow he's getting related to that.
Because he's removed.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Sound. They consume the sound on a very basic level,
rather being engulfed in it.
They're not engulfed in it in a way.
Okay, that's fair.
So you're saying that we feel music differently?
We're not the biggest consumers of black music.
We consume our music in a completely different way. A black youth seeing a black youth on TV
is gonna
relate to that music completely different to white. A white youth can completely remove himself from that music but still love it.
Okay.
Like you are more likely gonna actually take it like I want to be like that guy.
That's because you're seeing something of yourself in that person.
Why though? Why are we so?
It's
Why
because
are we
you're gonna
wrapped in like that?
No, because you're gonna see something of yourself.
No, it's that's how
person.
imagery works.
Yeah.
Eminem made other white rappers.
Yeah,
wanna-
that's
There
a
you
fact.
go.
Now you got my shit
He paved the way.
And
He
if you
paved.
look in the UK, if you look in the UK, H made other white youths.
Yeah.
Now you got a bag of white youths. That's
Yeah, but
rapping.
I've got bars still. It's like,
Yeah,
it really be like that back in the day. That's true. That part is true.
So it goes back to the fact that artists are influencers.
No, I don't think there's an argument against artists being influencers. It's just how much we hold them accountable for the lyrics that come out of their mouth. Whether we treat them like movie stars. Like if I watch Men's Society and I knock somebody down, are you really gonna go at the production company or the artist or the movie star that played the role too well? Or are we saying that because it's music, it's more integral?
Music is more relatable because guess what? The first thing that we asked Medley when he interviewed was what's one of the first artists that was popping at the time when you was in Sheffield? The artist that you looked up to that made you want to do.
Not only that.
So if an artist can make you want to, take up music as a career, an artist can make you want to take gangbanging as a career, especially if you look at this artist and you think to yourself, yeah, this man's actually got ratings on road, this man's singing about gangbanging or singing about doing this blah 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 blah. I want to be like this guy, so let me pattern up myself to be.
But it wasn't it wasn't specifically what the person was rapping about that made me want to do music. It was
The image.
Maybe it was the image. Maybe it was the image and how people respected it.
Yeah.
And you get there.
Style and flow.
Yeah,
He's a man.
you know what I'm saying? Like when I first read about it, I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Putting pen to paper.
Yeah, I was just putting pen to paper and just going. So
Statistics on average, they say that people listen to 4 hours of music a day. People don't watch films on average 4 hours a day.
No.
So people don't look at art 4 hours a day. So you can paint a dark art, but you're not gonna stand there and think
for 4 hours.
Shit, man, this is putting me in a dark spot. 5 minutes max. But you're gonna come away from that. But music is more influential than TV, maybe radio.
Think about it.
So, to conclude, I think music has.
Stop watching TV.
Pretty much.
I stopped watching TV.
I stopped watching TV. Since lockdown, TV is.
Since before lockdown.
Well, true. Anyway.
Cool.
Exactly.